Okay, welcome everybody to a all new sort of series that we're going to start doing here. We've asked our fans to submit their bracket predictions for the playoffs, and we're going to be analyzing those, critiquing them, and sort of giving our own input as to what we think is going to happen.
Yeah. And so this is sort of not only a chance for us to critique where you guys are at and what you guys are thinking about the upcoming playoffs, but also give you some insight into what we're thinking about the upcoming Stanley Cup bracket. Super excited to get into this and super exciting time to be a hockey fan, quite frankly.
It's sort of like a master class for free. You should be
Yeah,
paying for it, but you're getting away
really should. Yeah.
for it. And
So you're welcome.
so here we go.
So welcome back to another video here, Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned today, we're going to reveal.
Okay, so this he's calling himself Top Shelf Hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
He didn't ask for the whole production value. I mean, we got a name on our end that we are proud of. So don't know what that's about, but
okay. All right. Well, let's see what he's got.
Our bracket predictions for the upcoming 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs that are set to begin here in just a couple of days' time. The NHL regular season for the 22-23 season is now fully complete, and the playoffs are upon us. Half the league is now in off-season mode, and half the league is preparing for Game 1 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we're going to go through series by series. I'm going to give you some stats on how these teams kind of stack up against each other, and give you my thoughts on why I'm picking the team and who's going to likely win, who's at the advantages, disadvantages.
pause that right there for a minute.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, and I think we both caught that. Hopefully the listeners caught that, but he says he's going to say the stats and then his opinion. That, I don't know, but to me, it seems a little
Did I
backward.
hear that right?
Yeah. I mean, this guy, I know he's new to analysis. He's new to this, but usually you state your opinion and back it up with facts.
Right. That's sort of the essay format everyone knows. So
Learned it in 8th grade.
okay, interesting start to the clip, but we'll see what he's got.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So let's start with the Western Conference. So our first matchup will feature the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche.
Okay. Sorry to pause it again, but he's starting with the Western Conference.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, hockey's biggest in the Northeast. So if I were him, I mean, because you want to remember, folks, you want to capture viewers here. You want to get their attention. And the people who care about hockey the most are in the East. So starting with the West is sort of like, it's put me to sleep.
Well, I woke up this morning with a splitting headache. Just sunlight, the curtains open, coming into the room. I'm like, you got to close those curtains, or I'm gonna throw up.
And and I didn't think I was gonna be doing this, but I'm also just been dealing with some stuff in my personal life as well. So again, this guy, you really want to capture people's attention with this stuff because otherwise our minds are going to wander. But
why don't we sleep here at the wheel? But
yeah,
let's keep it running.
Let's keep it going.
Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. So of course the Avalanche are the Central Division champs. The Seattle Kraken are the wildcard team number 1. So these two teams actually stack up pretty good. And the Kraken actually gave the Avalanche a hard time in the regular season, taking 2 out of 3 regular season games.
All right,
but
well,
let's hear this to break
right off the bat. He's sort of ripping these stats from someone else, like a torrent or something. I don't know.
Well, it's not original work. These are some plagiarism taken from obviously clearly somewhere else. Also, hello, I can read.
Yeah,
you don't
a
have
little patronizing.
Read.
A little patronizing to think that we can't read. I mean, clearly, you look at the screen, automatically Avalanche have the advantage. What else more is there to say?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this guy's on thin ice.
Look at the stats here. The Avs scored an average of 3.2 goals per game. The Kraken scored 3.4 per game. So the Kraken actually a little bit better offensive output. Goals against, the Avalanche gave up an average of 2.73, or the Kraken 3.14. So advantage to Colorado in that sense. The power play, clear advantage to the Avalanche, 25.2 to 19.2. So it's a huge advantage that way. And PK certainly better as well. 79.7 for Colorado compared to 75.1 for the Kraken. So if you take a look at things here, defensively, the Avalanche have a advantage. I think they have better, more consistent goaltending. I think we've seen that. That's one thing with the Kraken this year.
What is this anecdotal? I mean, he's just sort of making stuff up here. I don't know where he's getting that from.
Yeah, I'll just say my analysis. I mean, it's clear from the stats. I don't care that Seattle took 2 out of 3. The Avalanche have the advantage. So that's my analysis for this series. I think Avalanche are going to take it.
Yeah.
And why not just leave it at that?
Well, I think that's sort of the thing that some of our fans might not understand by now is it's really not that complicated.
No.
Okay. I mean, you just sort of all this mumbo jumbo. Or I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. But
yeah, well, let's see what else. Maybe he'll redeem himself. So
the goaltending has not been the most consistent and could certainly be better. And I think for them to be a more serious playoff team, that's going to be something that they need to get in future seasons ahead. Special teams is clear advantage Colorado, a more potent power play, a more aggressive PK. So they should win the special teams game. They should defend better. They shouldn't give up less. And like I said, even though they technically scored a little bit less than the Kraken during the regular season, this team has faced a ton of adversity and had a lot of injuries, a lot of games lost to top players, including not having.
Okay.
I take some offense to this.
Excuses. I had a rough morning, and I'm actually right now having a tough time looking at the screen.
Yeah.
And you don't hear me making excuses for myself.
You don't hear me. You know, even if you're injured, this is your job. You should get out, lace him up, and get on the ice. I didn't think we were going to do this, but again, I've been dealing with some stuff in my personal life, and I still showed up to the podcast. Okay. Just to say it, last night, my youngest, my daughter, she tells me that she says that she doesn't love me. And yeah, so I was dealing with that bombshell all night. And I'm still here to do the show. So I think injuries are no.
Look, I mean, say no more. All of us puckheads are with you. That's such a difficult thing to hear. I think, as young as she is, 2 years old, she doesn't really have the mental capacity to form like, do I like this guy? Do I not like him? So she's probably just copying what everyone else in your life is saying about you right now. I don't think it's, I'm just saying out there, I don't think it's her.
Well, yeah, I was up all night trying to make sense of this and trying to rationalize it to myself so I didn't, completely lose it. And I do agree with you, but then again, I hate to keep doing this on the show, but I feel like it's all roads lead to my wife. What she's been filling her head with is just this crap that I don't know what she's been telling her. I know I wasn't the best dad, and it really hurts me because I wasn't the best father to my firstborn son. And this time she knows that, and she knows I feel remorse for that. And this time around, I was going to do things differently. I said that to myself, and I know I'm not the best dad, but I just can't help but feel that she's getting into her little brain and filling it up with this garbage, and I don't know why she would say that. Really, to me, it hurts. And
I think that's just sort of the age-old tale of marriage.
Yeah.
One day you're happily married on your honeymoon, taking gondola rides in Venice, Italy, and then the next moment, you woke up on the living room floor thinking like, how did I get here? And that's just how it works sometimes. But you got to stick with it because, at the end of the day, family is all we have. Right? I mean,
right now, feels like all I have is this podcast. She's took the kids somewhere this morning. I don't even know where they went. Part of me feels like okay because I was almost too embarrassed to look them in the eyes this morning when I woke up because my son was there when she said that. So I thought I'd do this podcast to maybe get my mind off things, but I just don't think it was enough. I don't think Top Shelf Hockey's analysis was enough to fully escape the, just hell that I'm going through this morning.
well, I mean, this is resonating with me on a personal level now because just sort of like where did it go wrong? You know what I mean?
I ask myself that almost 5 times a day.
And my marriage is sort of hanging on by a thread. Because my wife tried to leave me last month, and I said to her, if you leave me, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna jump. And she's my angel. She's been putting up with me.
Yeah, but I know moments like that, every relationship has those, but those are those moments too where I'm sure things were maybe a little different after that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like the only reason I'm still alive is because I'm a coward. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's some mornings when I'm hungover and I feel like if I had more courage, I'd put the cocked and loaded gun in my mouth and pull trigger. I know that's dark, but that is what I think a lot.
Well,
But
this is if I have 1 ounce of determination left in this world, I want to get this podcast to be the #1 listened to podcast in the world. I think everyone needs to hear this.
I think it's important what we're doing.
I think it's really important what we're doing.
And I do think, sort of like the ultimatum you gave your wife, I think it's an ultimatum that we could maybe give the listeners here. I know it's a lot of responsibility this early on into the show, but we need this. We need this to be
absolutely. Because this podcast is the only thing in my life that isn't completely wrecked. But so Martin Luther King, Reverend Jr. had his I have a dream moment. And, sort of I had a vision in my own life that I have a dream and I'm going to get this podcast is going to be the best one you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this whether my wife wants me to or not.
It's a good sentiment.
If it kills me, I'm gonna come every week. I will be discussing what's important to me with you guys.
And quite frankly, if that dream doesn't come true, then that'll be that. And I'm not saying the blood won't be on your hands, the listeners. I'm not saying that.
Sorry, guys. That was a lot. I know for the viewers. I just had to go into the bathroom there and, sort of just, got a little sick. But Top Shelf Hockey really let us down with this video. I don't know what that was. But I guess this is what you deal with. This is raw. We're still learning. And next time maybe we'll have something a little more clean cut, something that doesn't suck. But until next time.